Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna, and today we're talking about something that brings people together in almost every country: food. Our topic is how food connects cultures. Whether you are sharing noodles in Seoul, bread in Istanbul, or tacos in Mexico City, a meal can tell a story about history, geography, family, and identity.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jake. I love this topic because food is delicious, of course, but it is also a kind of language. Even when people do not share the same spoken language, they can often communicate through cooking, eating, and hospitality. Today, we'll explore that idea, learn useful vocabulary, and share practical tips for talking about food and culture in English.
Let's begin with the word culture. Culture means the shared ideas, customs, traditions, and ways of life of a group of people. Food is one part of culture, along with music, clothing, celebrations, and language. We can say that food reflects culture. In other words, food shows us what a community values and how people have lived over time.
That's right. For example, look at the ingredients people use. In coastal areas, seafood may be common because it is easy to find. In places with a cold climate, people may prepare hearty soups and stews to stay warm. The word hearty describes food that is filling, rich, and satisfying. Geography, weather, and local plants all influence what appears on a traditional menu.
History is important too. Many popular dishes are the result of migration and cultural exchange. When people move to a new place, they bring recipes with them. Over time, those recipes may change because some ingredients are difficult to find or because local cooks add their own ideas. This process is called adaptation. To adapt something means to change it so it works in a new situation.
Can you give us an example, Anna?
Sure. Consider the many kinds of dumplings around the world. In China, you can find jiaozi. In Japan, there are gyoza. In Poland, people enjoy pierogi, and in Georgia, they eat khinkali. These foods are not exactly the same, but they share a basic idea: a filling wrapped in dough. Different communities adapted a similar concept to their own tastes, ingredients, and traditions.
I like that example. It teaches us another useful phrase: a common thread. A common thread is an idea or feature that appears in different people, places, or situations. Dumplings can be a common thread between cultures. When we notice similarities instead of only differences, it becomes easier to feel connected to other people.
And food also connects us through hospitality. Hospitality means making guests feel welcome and comfortable. In many cultures, offering food or tea is a way to show respect. A host may say, "Please have some more," even when the guest has already eaten a lot. The guest might politely refuse at first, but then accept after the host insists.
That situation can be funny when you travel. You may think someone is asking a simple question, but actually they are following a social tradition. This is why it is useful to observe before you act. If you visit someone's home, watch how other guests behave. Do they wait for the oldest person to begin? Do they remove their shoes? Do they eat family style, with shared dishes in the center?
Family style means that everyone takes food from common plates instead of receiving one separate plate. It can encourage conversation because people pass dishes and ask one another what they would like. A useful sentence at the table is, "Could you pass the vegetables, please?" Another is, "Would you like to try this?" These simple expressions help you participate naturally.
Here is a practical English tip. When you describe a dish, do not only say, "It is good." Try more precise adjectives. You can say a dish is spicy, mild, sweet, sour, salty, bitter, smoky, creamy, crunchy, tender, or savory. Savory means pleasantly salty or spicy rather than sweet. For example, roasted mushrooms have a savory flavor, while a ripe mango is sweet and juicy.
Texture is another helpful area of vocabulary. Texture means how food feels in your mouth. Crackers are crisp, popcorn is light and crunchy, and a well-cooked steak can be tender. Some soups are smooth, while some sauces are thick. If you are learning English, describing texture is a great way to practice because it helps you move beyond basic words like delicious.
You can also talk about cooking methods. Food can be grilled, baked, boiled, steamed, fried, roasted, or fermented. Fermented food is made through a natural process in which microorganisms change the food. Yogurt, kimchi, sourdough bread, and some cheeses are fermented. You do not need to memorize every word at once. Choose 3 new words and use each one in a sentence this week.
That is an excellent learning strategy. Another strategy is to connect a new word with a personal experience. Instead of memorizing the word roasted alone, remember a sentence such as, "My family roasted vegetables for dinner on Sunday." Personal examples make vocabulary easier to recall because the word has a story attached to it.
Speaking of stories, traditional recipes often carry memories. A recipe may be passed down from grandparents to parents and then to children. The phrase passed down means transferred from an older generation to a younger one. Sometimes the written recipe is not very exact. A grandmother might say, "Add enough flour," or "Cook it until it looks right." The instructions are based on experience.
Yes, and that experience is part of what makes home cooking special. A dish can represent family identity. People may prepare a certain meal during a holiday, a wedding, or a religious celebration. Food can also comfort us when we feel homesick. Homesick means sad because you miss your home, family, or familiar surroundings.
Have you ever felt homesick because of food?
Definitely. When I studied abroad, I missed my mother's vegetable soup. I could find similar soup in restaurants, but it did not taste exactly the same. The flavor was connected to the smell of my kitchen, the sound of my family talking, and the feeling of being safe. That experience taught me that food is not only about nutrition. It can also hold emotion and memory.
Nutrition is an important word here. Nutrition is the process of getting the substances our bodies need from food. Food traditions can be healthy, but they can also change as lifestyles change. Today, people may have less time to cook, so they choose convenient meals. Convenient means easy and practical, especially when you are busy.
Convenience is not automatically bad. A balanced approach is usually more realistic than strict rules. We can enjoy traditional dishes and still think about variety, portion size, and fresh ingredients. If a meal is very rich, we can balance it with vegetables or a lighter meal later. The goal is not to judge someone's culture. The goal is to make informed choices for our own health.
That point is important when discussing food with people from different backgrounds. Avoid saying, "Your food is strange." Strange can sound rude, even if you do not intend to offend anyone. Instead, ask respectful questions. You could say, "I haven't tried this before. What ingredients are in it?" Or, "Is this dish connected to a special celebration?" Curiosity is more welcoming than criticism.
Exactly. We should also remember that no culture is completely uniform. Not every person from a country eats the same food, follows the same customs, or enjoys the same flavors. A useful phrase is, "It depends on the region and the family." This phrase helps us avoid stereotypes. A stereotype is a simple belief about a group that may not be true for every individual.
Regional differences can be fascinating. One country may have a northern cuisine with creamy sauces and a southern cuisine with bright spices and more seafood. Even within one city, neighborhoods may specialize in different foods because different communities live there. A food market can become a meeting place where traditions mix and new dishes develop.
This mixing is sometimes called fusion. Fusion cuisine combines elements from different culinary traditions. Culinary means related to cooking or food. Fusion dishes can be creative, such as a pizza with ingredients from another cuisine or noodles prepared with a new sauce. Some people love fusion, while others prefer recipes that follow older traditions. Both choices can be meaningful.
When you travel, food is a wonderful way to learn, but be a thoughtful traveler. Before visiting, learn a few basic facts about table manners. Check whether tipping is expected, whether eating with your hands is normal, and whether certain foods are avoided for religious reasons. Learn how to say, "Thank you," and "I'm allergic to," in the local language if necessary.
And if you are invited to eat in someone's home, bring a small gift when appropriate. It might be fruit, flowers, or a dessert. Ask whether you should bring anything, and be honest about allergies or dietary restrictions. A dietary restriction is a rule about what someone can or cannot eat. For example, a person may be vegetarian, vegan, or unable to eat gluten.
You can turn any meal into an English lesson. Take a picture of a menu and look up 3 words. Ask a friend to explain a family recipe in English. Watch a cooking video and listen for verbs such as chop, slice, stir, pour, boil, and serve. Then retell the recipe in your own words. Retelling is powerful because it tests whether you really understand.
Here's a mini challenge for our listeners. Describe a food from your culture in 5 sentences. Say what it is called, what ingredients it contains, how it is cooked, when people eat it, and why it is special to you. Try to use 1 texture word and 1 cooking verb. You can record yourself, listen again, and notice which words you want to improve.
That sounds fun. My example would be this: my favorite dish is a savory rice bowl with vegetables and grilled chicken. It contains rice, carrots, spinach, and a spicy sauce. The vegetables are quickly stir-fried so they stay crisp. I often eat it after work because it is convenient and filling. It reminds me that a simple meal can bring different flavors together.
Before we finish, let's recap. Food connects cultures because it reflects geography, history, migration, family, and celebration. We learned that culture means a shared way of life, hospitality means making guests welcome, adaptation means changing something for a new situation, and a common thread is a similarity between different groups.
We also reviewed useful words for flavor and texture, including savory, spicy, creamy, crunchy, tender, and crisp. Remember to ask respectful questions, avoid stereotypes, learn local table manners when you travel, and use meals as opportunities to practice English. Describe food with specific vocabulary instead of always saying good or delicious.
Your practice tip is simple: choose 1 dish, describe it in English, and connect it to a memory or tradition. Then share your description with a friend or record it for yourself. Language becomes easier when it is connected to real life, and food gives us a delicious starting point.
Thank you for listening to the English Daily Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who is learning English. We'll be back soon with another interesting topic and more practical language tips.
Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep discovering the stories on your plate. See you next time.